The brutal murder of Samantha Woll, a beloved Jewish leader in Detroit, happened almost a year ago. And still no answer to the question, who actually killed her? She was stabbed to death inside her Detroit home. Police say it wasn't a Jewish hate crime, nor a mentally unstable ex. What it is a shocking crime with no justice for Samantha Woll. Police did zero in on a man caught stealing from unlocked cars. They built an overwhelming case of evidence against him, but couldn't get a conviction in court. And now, as I discovered, the suspected killer may get away with murder because of some baffling legal decisions. A serene sidewalk in Detroit, tucked into a part of the city known for peaceful streets and tree-lined neighborhoods, almost insulated from chaos and crime.
They turned around, and that's what happened. My husband was just out walking our dog.
Until it wasn't.
He told me there is a person, potentially a body, laying on the sidewalk.
It was a total state of disbelief.
In the early morning hours of October 21st, a neighbor found Samantha Woll stabbed to death, lying on the sidewalk in front of her Detroit home. No witnesses, no explanation, and no one, especially her family, could imagine who would do such a thing.
I still didn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it until I saw her.
Detroit police launched a massive investigation involving Michigan State Police and FBI investigators who questioned more than 100 people in Samantha's personal and professional life. But they say evidence eventually led them to this man, Michael Jackson-Bolanos. How were you feeling as you headed into that trial? Did you think...
We were 1,000% confident that this person would be convicted. The prosecutors and police appropriately told us they've never had this much evidence against somebody.
After a month-long trial, the jury couldn't be convinced Michael Jackson-Bolanos killed Samantha Woll, even though he was captured on camera near Samantha's home minutes before her murder, happened to be carrying a knife when he was arrested, and her blood was discovered on his jacket.
I don't know this woman. I don't know anything about the woman.
And he even admitted he lied to police about everything until he took the stand.
Not guilty.
A verdict that gutted a family, stunned police and prosecutors, and something no one was expecting. And then another blow. During sentencing, Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Margaret Van Houten dismissed the charges that hung the jury, which meant Michael Jackson-Bolanos could not be retried.
That was a blessing in disguise.
A decision the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has filed to appeal, and if not reversed, could prevent Samantha's family from ever getting justice. More on that in a moment, but first, what went wrong? The prosecution had so much evidence. The trial lasted more than a month.
In my experience, if you present too much evidence to a jury, the jury gets bored with that and they get confused and they can't focus on the trees when they're looking through this gigantic forest.
But according to the foreman, the jury was stuck on Samantha's ex-boyfriend. That's him, Jeffrey Herbsman, calling 911 from a West Michigan hotel parking lot because he claimed he was having a panic attack brought on by a double dose of Auvelity, a major depression drug, and 4 hits of pot.
Do you have any weapons or anything on you? No. Okay. There's a knife in the car. Okay. Like a pocket knife or what's your name?
Panic attacks is one of Auvelity's side effects, but could it cause this convoluted confession?
I'm convinced that a man murdered my girlfriend and I don't remember it. Where's your girlfriend stay at? She lives in Detroit. Okay. believe that you killed her?
Because I have the motive and I have the opportunity.
What'd you say?
I may be trying to outsmart people.
Detroit police had already questioned Herbstman shortly after Samantha's murder, but investigators heard that bizarre confession and headed straight to Kalamazoo to question the ex. They also searched for evidence everywhere inside and outside his Detroit house, including the fire pit, surrounding cameras, and his phone. Detectives say they found nothing incriminating. But what if Herbstman was able to outsmart investigators? What if he left his phone at home? A seed of doubt planted by defense.
Could it be Herbstman? I don't know. It looks very similar to me. It looks very similar to me. This person running from the scene looks very similar to Jeff Herbstman. Haircut, glasses, even the coat he's wearing.
Attorney Brown argued that if the man on surveillance at 1:24 a.m. was Herbstman, he could have stabbed Samantha and fled. This was the last motion detected in her home until 4:20 a.m., when she may have regained consciousness, struggled to escape before collapsing on the sidewalk. I mean, you could see the optics. Probably when someone maybe seems like they're confessing to something and then they're granted some sort of immunity, it did seem a bit odd why they were ruled out so quickly.
And Mr. Herbstman wasn't ruled out immediately. There was a very long and thorough investigation into his involvement in this case prior to any use immunity being granted to him by the prosecutor's office.
For the first time, we are hearing from Detroit Police lead investigator on the case, Lieutenant Matthew Bray, who tells me this man captured on surveillance was running away toward the park. They checked every camera in the area and never spotted that person again. Why was he so important to the trial, though, if he didn't do it and he sort of confessed and he had some mental issues? I mean, why even bring him into it?
So it's important for us to demonstrate to the jury why we know and why we believe him not to be the person involved in this incident. To exclude that information would leave a gaping question for the jury.
It was all aroused in order to...
Investigators maintain the timeline from the defense doesn't add up. It wasn't a crime of passion. It was a crime of opportunity gone wrong.
A fatal mistake, but everybody makes mistakes and everybody forgets to do something sometimes, and we've all left our door unlocked when we didn't mean to, and no one expects to be killed for it.
In the early morning hours of October 21st, prosecutors claim Samantha returned from a wedding, changed and vaped outside, but didn't completely close the door. Evidence showed she relaxed on the couch, texted, and started Netflix at 1:24 a.m. Her phone went into idle mode, and she fell asleep.
3:52 a.m. I saw this individual in the parking lot west of the school.
Jackson-Bolanos spotted. You can see it exactly 4 a.m., about 150 feet from Samantha's place, where he later admitted he was stealing from cars. That school surveillance camera caught Michael Jackson-Bolanos in this parking lot checking for unlocked cars. Police believe he went from here to Joliet Place and found Samantha Woll's door unlocked. The prosecution claims at 4:20 a.m. he enters, startling Samantha from her sleep on the couch. They struggle. He panics and grabs a knife, stabs her 8 times, mainly in the back of her head and neck, as if she's trying to get away. The next time we see Jackson-Bolanos on video is 4:23 a.m. in front of the Greektown Casino.
I was in that area. I did not hear nothing. I did not see nothing out the room. I see security and got the phone.
ADT testified the motion detector was triggered at 4:20 and stayed in idle mode until 4:22, giving Jackson-Bolanos 2 minutes to stab his victim and 1 minute and 25 seconds to reach the corner of Chrysler and Monroe, about a quarter mile away. Police tested the route from that night at different speeds and learned walking and running like the suspect was seen doing that night took the same amount of time.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
But did he? Did he tell the truth? Remember his jacket that DNA testing revealed only had trace amounts of Samantha's blood on it? Well, turns out his girlfriend washed the jacket he wore that night before it was seized by investigators and tested by forensic scientists. Tomorrow at 10, a deep dive into the details of this case when the girlfriend washed that jacket. Incriminating timelines, evidence, and suspicious jail phone calls that will make you question why the jury made the decision it did and what it will take now for the family to get justice. A serene sidewalk in Detroit, tucked into a part of the city known for peaceful streets and tree-lined neighborhoods, almost insulated from chaos and crime.
They turned around alarm. I mean, that's what happened. My husband was just out of work. He was walking our dog.
Until it wasn't.
He told me there is a person, potentially a body, laying on the sidewalk.
It was a murder that shook us to the core. A vibrant young woman killed in cold blood. Detroit police zeroed in on a suspect for the murder of Samantha Woll, but the trial went south. The jury did not convict. A big sticking point, the victim's blood, or lack thereof, on the jacket worn that night by the suspect, Michael Jackson-Bolanos. What many don't know, his girlfriend washed that jacket before police tested it for evidence. A common black water-resistant jacket like this, because it was in the hamper, she said. Now think about it. How often do you wash your Gore-Tex jacket? Could that explain why only a trace amount of Samantha's blood was discovered on it? What haunts you the most?
The fact she's not here. I'd like to talk to her. I'd like to hug her. I'd like to see her.
Good morning, Detroit. How wonderful it is to be here celebrating with all of you. Thank you very much, Mayor Duggan.
For the Woll family, watching video of Samantha brings cherished memories and a sense of pride, seeing her speak in front of the Detroit Synagogue, now named in her honor. Nearly a year after her murder, their pain lingers, knowing it's just a matter of months before the only suspect in the case will walk free.
This is not someone who is a goody two-shoes who should be walking on the streets. This person is going to harm someone else.
Which I think is the crux of the case. We have a gentleman who says that he's never met this woman a day in her life, never touched her, never seen her, and he has to explain why that blood is on his jacket.
So how did Michael Jackson-Bolanos get Samantha Woll's blood on his jacket and backpack? He claimed he never saw that woman that night, insisting he wasn't even in the area.
I don't know this woman. I don't know anything about the woman.
Then why did his internet search history show him constantly checking the status of the murder case and police scanner apps? And remember the other suspect, ex-boyfriend Jeffrey Herbsman? Turns out the same day he was released from police custody, Mr. Jackson-Bolanos searched for a same-day passport.
Did you attempt to buy a passport and flee the country?
No, the same-day passport was for a Halloween party that was coming up, and I couldn't get to Windsor.
He said a Halloween party, but more than a week after Halloween? Video of his interrogation showed Jackson-Bolanos lie to police more than 40 times, even about stealing from cars, until surveillance video caught him in the act and in a parking lot 150 feet from Samantha's townhouse.
Standing next to the driver's side of a vehicle.
Okay. And does an arm appear to be extended?
Yes. Agent Tolson.
DPD Sergeant Lance Sullivan showed how his team tracked Jackson-Bolanos from the Lafayette lot back to his Detroit apartment on West Alexandrine. Police searched that apartment and discovered the same North Face jacket and backpack, and also discovered a lockbox, inside latex gloves, and a ski mask like he was wearing that night.
and both of those areas were positive for the possible presence of blood.
DNA testing revealed the blood on his coat and backpack was indeed Samantha's, but only trace amounts. A bizarre jail phone call between the suspect and his live-in girlfriend revealed a likely reason why. Tierra White washed his jacket by the time police seized it more than a month after the murder.
They're so dumb. Never even washed the jacket, bro. It was already how it was. If I washed the jacket, bro, it wouldn't have been nothing on the jacket. Like, y'all so stupid. That's why
it has been washed. It has, and I respect that.
And at that point, the call terminates.
Shocked by what she said, or what she did, the inmate hangs up and calls back, clearly distraught.
They telling me what you say could be used against me. Like, bro, what you say in the court of law could be used against you in the court of law. My whole life I'm around my Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just not sure why you're talking to me like this, so that is something.
Bro, because you didn't be saying anything, bro. Like, don't say nothing. You know, what the
You stop cutting me off before I could speak to her what I was going to say.
I don't want to hear what you got to say about that, bro.
Hello? Hi, is this Tierra? Tierra White didn't answer the door to the apartment she shared with Jackson-Bolanos, but she did answer my phone call. I was just wondering about that day. I heard a lot of the jail conversations and that, and he hung up when you talked about that jacket. I was wondering when you washed that jacket. Was it that night that he came home?
No, within the next couple of weeks.
Tierra refused to say anything else, but police have suspected from the start she washed that black North Face jacket after her boyfriend got home the morning of October 21st.
Did you see anything shocking about this jacket?
No, not to the naked eye.
Did you see blood on this jacket?
Not at all.
Did you see blood on any of the clothing that was inside of that hamper?
Not at all.
I think that the important part of the case is that Mr. Bolanos had 2 opportunities to explain where that blood evidence came from. During both of those conversations, he said that he has never met her a day in his life, he has never touched her, and he has never seen her a day in his life.
What if he was just scared and felt like that was the only way to protect himself?
Well, he had 2 opportunities to say that to the police. I think that's important. I think whether somebody's scared or not, I think it's very important to bring that information to light. Secondly, we researched that. We discovered that Mr. Bolanos has called the police numerous times in the past. So we know that there's not a fear from him to speak with the police.
Lieutenant Bray also didn't like how Jackson-Bolanos completely changed his story after this call with his attorney.
Bro, I'm not doing no weird like that.
Yeah, not at all. At the end of the day, he even had to admit himself that it's very possible of our theory that she died earlier, got up, stumbled outside, and you, just like the other witness, came across her body and touched her. For whatever reason he said you might have touched her, he said that's very possible.
But when Jackson-Bolanos takes the stand, he now admits it was him near the crime scene at 4:10 a.m., but claims he didn't kill Samantha. Even though he told police he hid and ran from security that night, he now says he spotted something on the sidewalk and got the blood on his jacket when he checked to see if the person was still alive.
I just checked the neck, put my hand kind of like in between right here, no air. No like breath or nothing, and once I realized that I just touched the dead person, I just grabbed the bag and I left.
But his timeline doesn't add up, especially when he testified how her body felt at the time.
Cold and like crusty.
If he says he touched her before 4:20, that's impossible because my sister's motion detector went off at 4:20, so she wasn't out of the house yet, and that was independently verified by ADT.
Me as a person, yeah, I'm out doing wrong, but I still wanted to make sure that you feel that this person was okay.
And looking around us, I am encouraged and inspired by how we continue to show up for one another.
Her family wants Samantha remembered for her kindness and goodness, not a heinous crime, and now a trial without a murder conviction. Jackson-Bolanos will only serve 18 months in prison for lying to a peace officer.
If lying was an Olympic sport, you would get the gold medal, sir, because you told lie after lie after lie.
After 5 days of deliberating, the jury found Jackson-Bolanos not guilty on first-degree premeditated murder and was deadlocked on felony murder and home invasion. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Because of a baffling legal decision, prosecutors are now prevented from retrying their only suspect.
I don't believe this jury had any idea.
Surprisingly, no one did, even District Judge Kenneth King. At the preliminary hearing, he considered the deliberation of the stabbing. He told me that's why he recommended the suspect also face first-degree premeditated murder.
Now, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office could have disagreed with that.
But they didn't. So when the verdict was split, former U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider says that set the stage for the defense to file a motion no one saw coming.
I am bound by Yeager, and I can't ignore precedent that's been set by the U.S. Supreme Court, and so I am going to have to dismiss.
Circuit Court Judge Margaret Van Houten did not agree with it, but she dismissed his felony murder and home invasion charges based on a 2009 Supreme Court case involving insider trading and fraud. The highest court ruled if a jury clears you of a crime, the government can't use those same facts to try you again on charges that are similar, which means Jackson-Bolanos cannot be retried for Samantha's murder.
Double jeopardy clause provides that you can't be prosecuted twice for the same offense.
Do you think it's the same crime?
No, I don't. I think these are different offenses. I agree with the dissent in the U.S. Supreme Court's case of Yeager, in which they said that the dissent said that these are different things. These are separate entities.
The Wayne County prosecutor is appealing, but Schneider says the only way this will change is if the Supreme Court reverses its 2009 decision, which is unlikely and could take years. But if that day does come, you can bet police and prosecutors will change the way they present this case against Michael Jackson-Bolanos.
Obviously, we had some shortcomings in how we either presented the case, and again, if we get an opportunity in the future to do that, then I'm sure we'll make some changes.
We feel that justice should be served. My sister's murderer got away with it. That's unbelievable in a country like this.
Now, I did reach out to Michael Jackson-Bolanos on his prison email, and I called the ex-boyfriend, Jeffrey Herbstman, hoping to get their takes on this case, but both declined an interview. Now, with the case, though, in the Michigan Court of Appeals, Judge Van Houten and the Wayne County prosecutors said they can't answer my questions, and Kim Worthy's office would only say they don't believe double jeopardy applies here and shouldn't prevent the prime suspect from being retried.
What an interesting story to a very important woman to so many people, not only her family, but the community. But there's so many steps to this, and you really did a great job unpacking it. But when you look at the prosecutor's role in this, when she made the decision, and the decision was what? To say...
Well, it was based on the recommendation from Judge King in the district court, and they added the first-degree premeditated murder based on that. But with the felony murder and the acquittal on the first degree and then the hung jury on the felony murder and the home invasion, that's where that Supreme Court case came in and the ruling to dismiss those two charges, and the double jeopardy applies. So and they can't retry him. So they actually have to reverse the decision. It has to make its way all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
And that likelihood is pretty low.
No, this was a 2009 decision based on an Enron case of insider trading. It's very unlikely, but still there's an argument there, so you never know. But it's a decision that could take years.